Oh, sound on. Oh, we got to turn Claire's sound on.
No, it's me. I didn't unmute myself. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Doing well.
Good.
Let us get cracking. Just 1 minute, Claire.
Woo.
And I think we are ready to go.
Amazing.
Cool. Let's get cracking. Waiting for a few more people to join us, Claire. Just give me 20 seconds and we will get straight into the good stuff.
I've had my internet decided today was the day it's going to crash.
I know.
So I've had to do some interesting tethering to my phone.
Okay. I love that. Finding a way, whatever it takes.
Oh, good. We'll make it work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know it's been mental today. Is the weather really bad with you? Because I know you're further north.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, we're about 30 minutes north of you. Yeah, it's getting pretty breezy.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely a good day to get outside and get exhilarated by the elements.
Yeah, you need to go and stand on top of the hills like that, and it's like you'll be like flying.
Yeah. Like the Titanic scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Claire, tell us a little bit about yourself for anyone who doesn't know what it is that you do, and what that entails. Like what is, for anyone who doesn't know, what is a sleep coach?
Wow. So actually, this isn't kind of how I started off life. I've been working in theatre for 15 years. So it's kind of only the last couple of years that I've transitioned over to coaching. So I started as a mindset coach, and then kind of since the start of the year, I trained as a sleep coach. So basically they both work really well hand in hand, because a lot of kind of sleep challenges are mindset based, and a lot of my mindset clients have sleep challenges, so it kind of works really well together. But I basically kind of coach either one-to-one or in groups, and with the sleep coaching it's kind of just working through where a person's at and kind of educating them on all the kind of intricacies about sleep, and then just kind of working with them to move their sleep to being in a better place. So it's kind of about making adaptations to their day, changing kind of small habits, kind of looking at where they are, and kind of what might be going on for them to cause the kind of disruptions.
Okay, I think that's an interesting point in terms of looking at each individual, because what I'd say, and obviously we'll get into this as we go, as a personal trainer, it's something I continually run into, the problem of dealing with a client's sleep pattern in terms of the amount, the quality, when they're sleeping. There's so many different things, but ultimately, whatever the problem is, if your sleep isn't right, it's going to affect absolutely everything in your life. So it's absolutely essential that we try and improve our sleep to get it like the best it can be. So for, say, someone like myself, and I've in the past I've struggled with my sleep. I still do, to be honest, in different ways, without making this too much about me. Obviously, speaking to you before, you raised some really interesting points and stuff, to be honest, I had never even really thought about. So that's why what I wanted to do with your knowledge, share the information with people, so hopefully they can gain some clarity around how to improve their sleep, how to make it better, so then everything else in their life feels better. Because like I said, the importance is just undeniable. I mean, they use it in like special forces selection, like sleep deprivation is a form of mild torture, and it's, you know, it's no joke. And I know, am I right in thinking you suffered with sleep issues yourself? Is that what brought you to then coaching others? Was that the initial?
I've had some, so I started mindset coaching because I'd done it as a client because my mental health hadn't been great. And with that came sleep challenges. So insomnia, disrupted sleep. I couldn't seem to crack it. So I'd spent a long time kind of working with my mindset coach on how I might improve my sleep, and kind of obviously mindset and overthinking is one of is a big reason why people don't sleep. So I'd kind of worked on that and still wasn't quite hitting it right. So yeah, that's what kind of brought me to it. Angus, who is the kind of head sleep coach, I met through doing the mindset work. And then, I just kind of thought, you know what, I've spent so long pouring everything I have into trying to sleep that I want to learn more and I want to be able to help others. I am now in a position where my sleep has improved a lot, and it's a journey. I think there's no quick fix with these things. It takes time.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is one size fits one. So I've had to find what works for me and what my specific issues were, fix those.
Yes.
And so then, I just wanted to be able to help others, because sleep deprivation is horrific. You wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. It's just, energy is everything.
Yeah. I think anyone who's watching this has obviously, I would say, probably experienced these problems or experiencing these problems. And it happens to a lot of us. And like I said earlier, it's something that if we can improve it, everything in our lives improves. And if it gets worse, everything gets worse. So for you, like you're saying, one size fits one, and that's a good way of looking at it. I think anything related to anything with our physical or mental, it's not like, it's not a generic thing. You've got to get really detailed with it. And the more detail you can get, the more individual you can get, the better results you're going to get. But if you were trying to explain to me, if you don't mind me asking, your previous problems in terms of your sleep issues and what you've now done to improve your sleep, as you mentioned, it's now much better, which obviously is awesome. So whatever you're doing is working. And that's what I'd like to do, is try and give people maybe some actionable tips and points that maybe they can, someone who's experiencing what you experienced, what I've experienced, where it's like you're going to bed at night, you're either not getting to sleep, or you are getting sleep and you're constantly waking, or like, what did that look like for you? What was firstly the problem, and then how did you combat that?
My biggest challenge was it fluctuated between I either just wouldn't sleep, or I could get to sleep, but I could wake anywhere between 10 and 15 times a night. So I didn't have the quality sleep. So my energy just wasn't there. And there's quite a lot of factors, particularly if you're female, hormones play a massive thing in sleep. So I now know that I have two very, very distinct sleep patterns within my cycle. So I'm kind of working on that side of it as well. So I think for me, the kind of things that have helped are, consistency. That is the biggest thing that you can do, is just be consistent, because your body likes predictability. So things like it's sorting out what your sleep timing is, because you need to find your optimal time. We all have, so there's kind of, some people are kind of night owls, some people are kind of morning larks and are good in the morning. So your kind of sleep pattern will fit with that. So for me, I'm a morning person. So I now go to bed somewhere between 10 and 10:30, and I wake between 5:30 and 6. And it's like clockwork.
Okay.
Nothing changes. I'm exactly the same. I don't use alarms, nothing. I'm kind of dead on. I'm ready for bed at 10, and I'm kind of starting to go. And then every morning, I'm up and I'm ready. If I say I'm up and I'm ready, sometimes it's a drag myself out of bed. But I think that's the key. That the second thing is light. Light is the only thing, because that's what can rebalance our natural rhythms. So if you've got out of sync sleep, light is a thing that will impact us, because that's the thing that changes our hormones.
Okay.
So at night time, what you want is to be avoiding the kind of bright lights, the blue light, the TV, the kind of all your lights on in the house, because that stops your melatonin from producing. So if your lights are getting dimmer, what you want to be saying to your body is, it's time to go to bed. It's okay to release the melatonin, and then you'll kind of get into sleep. And then in the morning, it is about light. What you want is to suppress that melatonin and allow your cortisol to rise, which gives you that kind of energy and drive. So kind of somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes in the morning of light. And if you're like me and you wake at 5:30, it's not very light. No. So that's when it's not good. So for me, it's artificial light. So I bought a ring light. You can buy those kind of light boxes. On Amazon, or they've got various ones. Just to get some kind of light into you in the morning. So go and stand outside for 10 minutes, or get the lights on in the house, something to produce that kind of cortisol rush.
Okay. So basically,
Yeah.
the take-home message there: as soon as you're waking up, get it light. Get like
Yeah.
don't sit there and like you would in the evening, like dim lights. Get it all light. Get your senses woken up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Get that, because what you want is to suppress your melatonin, because darkness, your brain still thinks it's bedtime and it's nighttime. So you're just helping it to kind of reduce and helping your cortisol to kind of rise and take over so that you're ready to go on with your day.
Understood.
Yeah.
And that's like, obviously you've said the flip side of that coin is at night you want to wind it down, get the lights down, and do the thing which I think most people, myself included, are guilty of making the single biggest mistake and being on their phone like that, scrolling, and then trying to go to bed 10 minutes later. And it's it's one of those things. It's kind of like eating a healthy diet or exercising regularly. That's one that, whether you are a sleep coach or not, you probably know that. You probably know you shouldn't be scrolling last thing at night. And I suppose that's a bit of discipline, isn't it? It's like there's certain things we don't know, we don't understand. And obviously that's the point of me and you talking today. We want to bring some of that information in. But that's one of the things where you just need a bit of discipline to put the phone down. That is going to help massively, right?
And not just with the light is part of it, but you can, so most iPhones now, you can change it so that you've got a red light on your screen, and red light is better obviously than blue light. Right. And you can change bulbs in the house to being kind of different colored bulbs so that it's not as stark. But I think the thing is that it stimulates you more than anything. If you're scrolling on your phone, then your brain is still active.
Yes.
So your brain is still starting to tick over things. So when you go to bed, your brain is still running over everything you've been scrolling about.
Yes.
And it hasn't calmed down.
Yeah.
So you're still kind of in that overstimulated mode.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And it's one of those things, again, where it's like the common sense approach there is one thing we need to know. And ultimately, it's like, again, going back to a fitness reference, it's doing what you know is going to be effective and making it habit. You touched on earlier about habit with ideally getting to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And again, that's something I myself have struggled with. And I think a lot of people do, because we work such weird hours nowadays. Like the amount of times when I'm trying to structure someone's routine, I'm trying to get them to, okay, we're going to work out at this time on this day, this time at this day, lunch is happening then, and then straight away it's like, okay, well, I'm working different hours that day. Oh, my kid's got a kids club then, and then I'm out late. And before you know it, it's really, you're trying to, plug holes constantly, and it's a difficult one. But I think that's something that everyone needs to understand, is we've really got to try and find routine in anything that's going to benefit us, whether it's our physical training, our mental health, our sleep patterns. They all interlink. And we can't really shortcut that process. We've got to try and find routine.
Yeah, I think that because the brain is predictable, it likes that routine. It likes to know what's coming up. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be so full on, because obviously, like, you're right, this is where the one size fits one comes in, because everyone has different things. Everyone has family and work and other commitments, and it's about how you kind of manage that. Yes. But I think there is a kind of intermediate where, you know what, sometimes you have to prioritize things. And I think that sleep has got to be one of those things, because without it, everything else goes off kilter. If you have a bad night, you have to think about the knock-on effect to your day. It means you're not as productive. It means you're not quite as with it. Your brain's not firing quite on all cylinders. Totally. I think there's a stat that says if you're sleep deprived, it's more dangerous than driving over the legal limit. I've heard
that, yeah, and I can relate to that. Like, not that I drive over the legal limit, more the fact that throw myself under the bus. But no, sometimes I feel if I've had a really bad night's sleep and I'm up for an early class and I'm driving at like 5:30 in the morning, I'm really having to concentrate on making sure I'm alert, instead of, when you are just alert, I'm telling myself to wake up. Sometimes I'm driving with the window down just to make sure that I'm a little bit more with it. So again, like you said, I think there's certain things in life we've got to make time for and prioritize, sleep being one of them, because the knock-on effect is it's like you can't shortcut that. Oh, I don't sleep very well. Well, you've got to do your best to try and find a way of sleeping better. And that's where I'm at. And this is one of the many reasons this is so fascinating, because I know a lot of people are in the same boat. And what I wanted to do actually is just talk a few things. Like, I appreciate there's no magic wand, but one of the things I constantly run into, and I struggle with as well, is knowing like the damaging effects on all parts of your life that stress causes. And I would say for most people that is the single biggest problem with sleep. I don't have any stats back that up, but I just imagine that that is the case. So like, if you would explain, how do you see that stress affects people's sleep? What does it do to sleep, basically? Why does it make sleep so hard to come by, or good quality sleep? What's happening in the body and in the mind?
Yeah, actually, stress is one of the number one things. I think because when you're stressed, you're in your kind of sympathetic nervous system. So you're in fight or flight mode. It's like that tiger's chasing you. Everything's kind of heightened.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't switch back into your parasympathetic, which you need for sleep. Yeah. So kind of overthinking is the biggest thing, and that is the biggest cause of people waking up, is they wake up and there's things on their mind, so they're trying to process things. And I'm working with clients at the moment who have really stressful jobs but go, oh yeah, I'm not stressed, but they wake up in the night and in their head is their to-do list.
Yeah.
I should have said that and I didn't do that, and why haven't I done that, and tomorrow, and running over there tomorrow. So but it just means you're kind of, like, your heart rate's higher, your heart rate variability won't be as good, so you're kind of you're tense. So your body is relaxed enough to sleep.
And that's the thing. I think stress is an undeniable part of life, and also some stress is necessary, I think, in life. But this is what's coming to next. I think, what would you recommend for people, say like myself, who do suffer with that? Like, I know that's one of the things that keeps me awake. What kind of things can we do to combat the stress? Because I think just expecting it to magically go away is just gonna make us basically run into a wall. But if you were saying, okay, your stress is really causing you issues with your sleep, what would some actionable steps be that I could take to combat that stress before sleep?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But you're right, like, some stress is good. I think the key is that stress and recovery means growth. So you kind of have to purposely stress your body, like physically, like with exercise, you stress your body and then you kind of give it the recovery time to grow before you kind of stress it again. So it's kind of similar with, it's okay to stress ourselves out, but it's the management of that. So I think it's things like having a decent routine. So obviously I'm a mindset coach, so part of this goes hand in hand. I'd suggest journaling. I'd suggest doing a really good brain dump at the end of your day. Just get it all out onto paper. What's stressing you out? Plan your day. So always plan your following day, so it's all written out ahead of you. Any actions you need to take, kind of just work through problems on an evening before you do anything, and then look at the good. I would always finish your day by looking at the good, and count your wins is one of the pillars I teach. So just what's gone well in your day, as simple as I stuck to my routine. I drank the water I needed to drink. I took my time to recover. I did something I didn't want to do. Your wins can come from anywhere.
Totally.
But if you end your day thinking about everything that's gone well and everything that's moving you forwards, then that's what your brain is going to ruminate on while you sleep, because our unconscious, it doesn't switch off. So rather than it ruminating on all the negative stuff and the worry, if we can leave it thinking about what's going well and where you're moving forward, then it kind of gives you a bit more peace.
Yes.
So those would be big things.
That's exactly what I think you've nailed it. And you said something there which I think everyone needs to fully understand. If they don't, I admit I didn't used to understand this. I used to be like, how can I stop or quiet my subconscious mind, my unconscious mind? And ultimately it will never stop. It's like, it's not just going to switch. It's not like a light switch on off. That's again an unrealistic thing, but it's I think, and I've done it myself, and I agree with the journaling. It helps just to get the things out of your mind, because otherwise they just swirl around. And I totally agree. The fact in any area of your life, to build your confidence, build your happiness, and create a good feeling, to count your wins, whatever they are. Like, I got up on time today. That's a win. I ate a proper breakfast. That's a win. I exercised this morning. It's a win. And before you know it, you've got 10 wins by lunchtime. And just remembering those puts your mind in a better place. So when you're feeling like that, your confidence rises. And then the next day you're feeling like, well, okay, I've got something difficult to deal with here, but I've been getting all these wins. My confidence is rising. I'm feeling better about myself. And then it's an upward spiral instead of the downward spiral of anxiety, bad sleep, waking up tired, and the knock-on effect, how that affects the next day. So
it's all about perspective. I think it's that kind of just shifting your perspective on your day really helps.
Totally. And that is, again, that's something we can all do, no matter where we are in our lives, young, old, male, female, it doesn't matter. And I think until people actually try that, they don't understand how potentially powerful it is, because we get stuck in these patterns where we're like, I'm not sleeping well, I don't sleep well. And I admit I've been there. I'm not preaching, but then you've got to ask, what am I doing to try and improve it? Whatever the situation, what action? And if you're not doing anything to try and improve it, then you're self-sabotaging. Basically, you're understanding there's a problem, but you're choosing not to even try and do anything about it.
I think that's the key word. It's choice. We always have a choice. It's not easy. You know, that it isn't easy. I think we all appreciate that. Life is challenging, but it is simple and it is a choice. So a lot of these things, you know, we're not taught any of this at school. We're not brought up on how to kind of deal with all of this. Yeah. So, you know, it's a skill. And with any skill, with any habit, you have to just learn. You have to get the reps in. It's like you don't go to the gym once and go, that's it, I'm done, I'm sorted. It's like you have to keep going. Like that's how it works. So it's the same with kind of mindset and sleep and all of that. It's like you just got to get the reps in every day. It's about practice and you get better. I've been doing this for 2 years now, and you know, it goes up and down, but you get better.
Yes, that's it. Like anything, like you said, it's consistency. You can't do something once, have a little stab at it and be like, oh yeah, wasn't great, I don't think I'll do it. You've got to commit to doing it, whatever that might be, whether it's trying to lose weight through exercise, gain strength, improve your sleep, improve your mental health. These are all things that are variable and need constant attention.
But all of them are linked to sleep. If you can nail your sleep, your mental health will automatically start to get, you know, you're in a better position for it. If you get your sleep and obesity have got a massive link. You're like 50% more likely to be overweight or obese if you don't sleep, if you get less than 5 hours. So the kind of stats in the UK are kind of, well, it's worse in the US. Obviously, I've had stats on them both, but so your sleep helps, it aids that recovery. So it helps your muscle build, it helps you lose weight, it helps your mental health kind of,
So that we've discussed some things we can do. Another thing that I think is really important in terms of sleep quality is environment. So in terms of, again, if you could give an outline of, for John Smith, who's struggling with sleep, what should he be doing in terms of how should his bedroom be? Should it be totally dark? Should there be any light? Temperature wise, anything you can think of that basically could help potentially. Like some people, I sleep with the TV on. I'm guessing that's not good.
Probably not the best.
That's what I thought, and I was just like, and again, I used to know a guy years ago that I used to train, and he used to swear by, and in fairness, he seemed to sleep, so maybe it worked for him. But he would like after his evening meal, he would have a coffee in the evening, and then I'd be like, well, surely that caffeine's going to just perk the brain up, and you're going to create energy that you're not really looking to create that time of night. But yeah, going back to the original question, what would be an ideal environment for anyone to have perfect sleep or as good as they can?
Well, this is, I guess, where the kind of one size one fits in. Like you're talking about the kind of guy who sleep with TV on and the coffee. Like sometimes there is a small percentage of people that can get away with things like that. And I think with the sleep environment, again, this is where you often see a lot of generic advice. But I think the key with this is context. So obviously I don't have context, but it's something, if I was working with a client privately, this would be very specific to them because of their situation. So I guess it's things like dark is good. You want as the least disturbance. So black blackout blinds. I wear an eye mask just for extra protection.
Yeah.
It depends if you've got people or animals in the room. Earplugs can be good. Anything that's going to kind of lull you into that safety, that it's quiet and peaceful and dark. You want to keep it kind of coolish in temperature. Kind of, I think it's around 16 degrees is recommended.
Yes.
I don't have, mine's either hot or cold. I don't have much of an input, but temperature. So for me, taking a warm shower or having a warm bath before bed helps, because that helps your temperature to drop.
Yes.
So I know for me, kind of when the weather's cold, I go and have a warm shower, because it means that I warm up to start with, but my body temperature will drop naturally then, and it kind of soothes you into sleep.
Cool.
It's for anyone that's hormonal as well. I know there's mostly men watching, but just kind of women, a kind of warm shower can help just drop that temperature, because that's something else that kind of we have to contemplate on an evening through the night, is kind of that temperature changes. Again, and it changes with seasons. Just think about your kind of bedding. You can buy obviously heat pads, you can buy like chilly pads as well. So if you're someone who gets really hot at night, you can buy pads that go underneath that kind of keep you cool. There's things like weighted blankets. I've got a weighted blanket that I love. I find in the winter that's a good thing for me. But it's just making it like you should only use your bedroom to sleep in.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that. And again, I think that's a mistake so many people make. They're like, you know, in an evening kind of slobbing out watching TV on the bed, and there's nothing wrong with that in terms of like, yeah, of course it's comfortable, but I've heard that from a few different people. It's basically, it's not giving your mind the right message in terms of this is here to sleep and only to sleep. When you go in here, it is to sleep.
Yeah, as I say, we always want to be helping our brain out. So if your brain associates the bedroom with just sleep, then that's great, because it knows that when you go in, when you lie down, it's like, right, this is what I do. We go to sleep.
Yes. Yeah. It's just carrying on from that point you made about a warm bath, warm shower before bed. A little bit of a tangent. Earlier on in the day, cold shower, I would guess, would give you the exact reverse effect and wake you up. So in the morning, like, you know, you haven't showered, you've done and then a little bit of cold water to finish the shower is going to invigorate the senses and wake you up, right?
Yeah. Didn't you do an ice bath? Did I see you done an ice bath?
Yes.
So I've tested I find this challenging because I don't like cold, but I have done it in the kind of, I needed to try it to see what would happen. So the idea is you should hit your frontal lobe with it. So get your cold shower right on the front of your brain to stimulate so the blood comes from the back to the front.
Yes.
And then your drainage system works that it goes from the front to the back. So if you can hit the front of your head to start with the cold water, and then try and get the whole head, then you will be awake.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just stimulates, wake you up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I'm doing that next
Brutal.
time. I'll try it.
Start small. I think that's the key, is have your normal shower and then just do like in sort of 10-second bursts, turn your shower all the way cold and try and hit it. If you can do 10 seconds a day, within a week you can be doing a minute.
Yeah. No, I've done that again. That's a good point. Start slow. Yeah. It can be overwhelming otherwise, because let's be honest, especially when you first try, it's not comfortable. It's the kind of thing you're not going to want to do, isn't it? But
you sometimes just have to go, you know what, suck it up and get on with it. 5-second rule it. That's what I do with things that are difficult. Count down from 5, and on 1, just do it.
Absolutely. No, that's cool. I'm with you on that. So if we were saying someone, again, John Smith, he's struggling with sleep, and you'd obviously run him through a kind of almost like a questionnaire. What's going on? What's the problem? What are red flags that you regularly see from people that you've had to try and help them unpick? So say if I give you a example, say in my role, usually not knowing what someone's eating and they're trying to increase their fat loss potential, but they have no idea what's going in versus what's going out, that would be a massive red flag, and I'd have to help them on that. So for you, in terms of people who have sleep problems, what do you constantly run into, and also how do you try and work around them?
Yeah, well, I've got a really like a 6-page comprehensive document that goes out to them to start with, because it is like it's so vital that I have as much information as possible. So I think the red flags at the moment, a lot of it is down to either timings, to do with when they go to sleep or when they eat, or caffeine and alcohol,
Yeah,
and stress. It's their work. It's inconsistency of timings can be a big thing. That's what seems to be coming up at the moment, and yeah, it's that kind of stress and anxiety
yeah.
plays a big.
And often those things go one into the next. Someone gets stressed, they drink alcohol at night, they don't sleep very well, and then they'll then rely heavily on caffeine the next day, and it's a bit of a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
in terms of alcohol,
Mhm.
because a lot of people say they feel that they might sleep better when they drink a bit. Um,
Mhm.
but I know we've spoken about this, and I'd just like you to explain what you explained to me in terms of it almost masks the fact that you're not sleeping well. Like, can you explain that?
It means that you don't get the deep sleep you need. If you've been drinking, often you don't fall into a deep enough sleep. It can, and it also does it affect your REM sleep, so which is the kind of stuff that helps your brain.
Yeah,
So yeah, I notice if it's really obvious now, if I only have to have a glass of wine and my heart rate goes up. So,
right.
and it kind of, it's like it doesn't give you quality sleep. You kind of, it kind of knocks you out. It's like unconscious for the
Yeah,
first bit.
yeah,
So it's like it dehydrates you, so it kind of leaves you the day after. Your kind of brain isn't talking to itself properly. It's like with sleep deprivation, your brain literally stops talking to itself.
yes,
And that explains why you get different food cravings. Like once you've been drinking, you often really want kind of carbs the day after and things like that, and salty foods because you've lost them.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think it kind of, because it has a kind of anesthetic effect, it just knocks you out. That's why you think you're having a good night's sleep, but it's not a quality night's sleep. You don't get the stages that you need for the rest and repair.
yeah. Awesome. And I know these will tie in a little bit, but how does sugar affect our sleep?
um I'm not a total nutrition, so I don't know kind of everything. I don't eat sugar, so that helps. I've cut sugar out of my diet.
Well, then,
It just easier.
yeah, I
Yeah,
get,
it can. Your blood sugar can, if you're eating too much sugar, your blood sugar can dip. So often, if you kind of if you wake at the same time every night, often that can be linked to certain things. You can link it to either you're not eating enough and your blood sugar's dipped, or because of your kind of sugar intake, you've got a bit of a roller coaster going on.
yes,
So you can kind of go up and down. So if you find you're waking, I think it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, if you're really consistently waking at that time, it means that you're getting low blood sugar. So either something's off in your diet and you're eating too much sugar, or you need to eat before bed. Basically, you're
yeah,
not eating enough
yeah.
food.
What is
Yeah.
a sleep pattern? If you could explain that, someone who's got no idea in terms of like, if we talk about sleep patterns, things like rapid eye movement.
Yeah.
How do you define those? Someone who has no idea what that term means.
Well, we all have sleep cycles at night. So a sleep cycle is 90 minutes. So you go from being awake, and then you kind of have deep sleep, light sleep, and REM. And they all do kind of, obviously you need certain amounts of each for rest and repair. Like REM is all, so rapid eye movement is all to do with processing. So it's the time when you dream. So it's all about kind of processing what's going on for you. So it's really fascinating if you can remember your dreams.
Yes.
Like that's just you trying to, you have to decide what you want to keep and what you want to lose in your memories. So it kind of deals with all of that, but you need the kind of deep sleep for your body. So each of the stages kind of has a different part. It repairs your muscles, it repairs your brain, it drains your brain. Drains your brain. It's kind of the lymph drainage. So
I
it
get what you mean.
kind of cleans it all up and gets rid of all the stuff that you don't need,
Yeah.
so that you're ready for the next day. Yeah. So you have normally people either have 4 or 5 sleep cycles a night. I think I only fit in 4 because of the timings, but normally people get 5 sleep cycles in.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So yeah,
So, an
that's how it works.
ideal world, what, again, you can't, I know everyone's different, but ideally, what's someone looking for in terms of hours sleep a night? If like, say I've got to get up at 5 in the morning, what would you say ideally I need to be in bed by a certain time? What would that be?
Well, I think you're right. It is one size fits one, because it's about how you feel more than anything. Like, how do you feel when you get up?
Yeah.
That's got to be a big driver for you. And I guess you kind of aim for sort of 7 to 9 hours, but people can function on different amounts. If you get a decent quality sleep, 6 or 7 potentially could be enough for you.
Yes.
So if you were getting up at 5, that's fairly similar to what I run. So that's a kind of morning lark thing. So I'd be saying kind of bed by 9:30, 10 is kind of a decent run at it. That's the cycle I run on, is kind of 10 till 5:30. So yeah.
And you touched on it there, which is, again, we would have to go back to the point you've already listed. It's quality over quantity, like so much in life. If you sleep really well, and you maybe only sleep, let's say but 6 hours, whereas if you're in bed for 8 hours but you're not sleeping well, you take the 6 hours, right?
Yeah, I think, well, I would. I think you can notice the difference in how you feel as well. If you've had a more disrupted 8 hours compared to a good solid 6, then you'll notice it in your energy levels. I think this is where it's one size fits one. It's like, it totally depends on how you feel when you wake up, to what makes you feel good, and what can drive you through the day, and what feels like it's enough for you. But yeah, I definitely go quality. Quality is good.
I think like what we've discussed there, right throughout, the same things often come up. Ideally, we need some structure in our day. We need structure. We need some discipline. It's not all just fitting things into place. There's discipline and there's willpower that comes into everything. It's the discipline to turn off Netflix when you know you should go to bed. It's the discipline to maybe do some breathing exercises for 5 minutes before going to bed. Even things like not scrolling the phone, or like you said, red light instead of blue light. It's a lot of these little things. If we can stack them all together, we can increase our chances of having better sleep, which gives us a better mood, gives us better energy, gives us better performance in everything we do. And like what you said there, there's no hard and fast answers. Me to you, this person, we're all different, but there's certain things that we should all, I believe, and I think you would agree from what you said, be looking to do, and also some things we should be looking to not do, i.e. avoid. And I think sorry, go on, Claire.
I was just going to say, and it's just about kind of making it work for you. So having, like, I think I briefly touched on routines, like have something, it's bedtime and morning, so you know what you're doing. So have that kind of hours wind down, and then take an hour for yourself in the morning. So make sure you're drinking enough water, make sure you're getting your light, make sure you're setting yourself up for your day properly, and that will help with your energy and your rhythms.
Awesome. That's brilliant. Well, like me personally, just what we've gone through gives me a lot to think about how I can and want to improve what I do. And that was a massive thing in terms of getting you on here, because I know a lot of the guys in the group, they run into a lot of these problems. And now I think we've almost got like a roadmap of things we need to do and maybe not do to improve it. And like you said, it's a process. It's not necessarily something we can just zoom into and connect. We are just about to run out of time. Claire, that was awesome. And
you're welcome.
What I want to do is do this again ASAP, because there's still some points I'd love to cover. So can I get you in again?
Absolutely. And also, if anyone wants to kind of message me, I think you tagged me in things, friend request me, message me, send me your questions. I'm happy to kind of answer anything I can. And don't try and do it all at once is my other advice. One thing at a time, 1% a day. Don't try and change everything, because your brain will panic.
I'm going to share all your links, Claire, and the guys will get in touch with you directly.
Yeah, and I'd love to chat again. Thank you so much for having me.
Claire, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.